Welcome, everybody. We're going to let our KU partners let everybody in and get settled for the evening, and then we will just get right into the agenda here in a minute. I thank everybody for joining. When I thought of this as an evening meeting, I thought, oh, it's going to be one of those cold February evenings where we'll get everybody just wanting to be bundled in inside and join us. And then I pretty much had the windows down driving to my office tonight. And it's beautiful outside, and my neighborhood is packed with walkers. And so it just feels so out of pocket for February. I'm trying to wrap my brain that it is February 20th in Kansas. So I welcome everybody who's joined us. And maybe a few of you are sitting outside still enjoying this lovely evening. I am Melissa Schoenberger. I am the section director for systems and field services at KDHE. Joining me today within our leadership team is Derek Flurlog, our bureau director, and Jarvis Dolman, our section director, childcare licensing, focused in on operations. So we're going to switch it up just a little bit today. And Megan, if we want to go to the next slide. We're going to go ahead and give our childcare licensing updates first, and just talk a little bit, and even switch some of these agenda items. And we're going to go ahead and let Derek, who is, I just love our team and doing double duty and doing some parental duty this evening. And so we're going to go ahead and let him come off mute and come on screen and let us give an update on our regulation progress to date. Derek, I'm going to hand it over to you.
All right, thanks, Melissa. Yeah, I'm going to do my best. My wife's a labor and delivery nurse, and she works tonight. So I've got three kiddos here home with me, and two of them are 4 and younger. So if you hear anything, just ignore it. It's fine. Um, so yeah, quick regulatory update. Just wanted to kind of bring you all up to speed if you're not already. I think we've sent out several updates to all of our license providers around the state. And kind of letting them know where things currently sit. So you all are probably aware we have kind of two packets that we've been working on. The first one is the one that's still with the Attorney General. And that's going to be regulations that bring us up to speed in terms of, this is me literally multitasking here. This is wonderful. They bring us up to speed as far as some of our federal requirements, our CCDF requirements. And those are the ones that we really met with our providers over the summer. We had a couple different provider engagement sessions, and then we also met with you all on the systems improvement team. We met with our internal team as well and drafted regulations, sent them off to the AG's office after it went through the Department of Administration and went through that whole process. We've since met with the Attorney General's office a couple of times now. We've sat down with them and gone over some suggested edits that they had, some suggested grammatical changes, nothing substantive in terms of the regs themselves, but, add an S here, don't capitalize this word here, that sort of thing. And again, dropped them off in October. They circled back with us to meet with them for the first time in December, sent them back, and they've sat there again since. So we're just waiting next steps from them and hopefully finalization from there. After that, it will technically come back to the agency in a way, but you'll have the formal public comment and hearing. Public comment. What's the other one, Melissa? What am I thinking of? Public comment and
Posting.
thank you. Trying to remember.
Oh, and the hearing.
The hearing, yep. And so there's a 60-day period for that. So there is some time that's required by state law on that stuff too. So so we'll go through all of that. We have a second packet that is specific to our school age and drop-in programs. That is a packet that we're currently also working on getting stamps and also working on getting to the Attorney General's office as well. So a lot of work going on in the regulatory space. I'm personally super proud of the team, internal at KDHE, but proud of all of you as well for assisting us with this and really drafting right alongside us. I was thinking back to the first provider engagement session that we had. I think it was in June, Melissa, if I recall correctly, and just kind of remember we were really talking openly in those meetings about, they were really open-ended questions. What do you guys want to see? What are you comfortable with? What do you think? And then coming back a second time to say, hey, here's what we've got. What's your opinion on this? Submit the surveys, give us feedback here. And was just kind of reflecting on the process. And I'm really proud of the effort that's been put into the project. And I think we've built a lot of really strong relationships with our providers and with our partners and with you all on this call. We've gotten a lot of great feedback through that process. So that's where things sit currently. Melissa, do you have anything else that I should mention that I'm not thinking about?
Just all of the work that we're doing on the back end.
Hmm.
It is what we should have realized, and we did very quickly, is that it's not just about drafting the regulations and putting them on paper. It's getting all of the pieces behind the scenes within our database system, within our documents, just making sure that when we move forward, that we are ready to move forward in a very positive. So just want you guys to know that we are being very proactive, to be very prepared, to do what we can during any of those public comment meetings as we move forward with the regulations. So
And one
actively
thing,
engaged.
yeah, and one thing too that I want to mention, Melissa, is we've heard from some lawmakers, even some last session, that were really interested in our regs and potentially doing something different with them.
Mhm.
And some of those same lawmakers are also proud of the work that's gone on in this
Mhm.
space and truly wanting to give it a chance. We've also heard rumblings that there may be some still interested in doing what they attempted to do last year as far as regulations go. And so, you know, if you're proud of the work that's gone on in this space, let your lawmaker know. You're on mute, Melissa. Sorry.
I think that about covers it, unless any of our team members, SIT team members, have a specific question for Derek Jarvis or I regarding the regulation promulgation process. If anybody has a question, feel free to come off mute, raise your hand, and we would love to answer that for you. Okay, that being said, I'm going to move to fingerprint initiatives, and I'm going to ask Jarvis to come off mute and share what's been going on and the positive training we have going on with our fingerprint team.
Thanks, Melissa. Good evening, everybody. Just want to give you a couple updates on fingerprinting things going on. We had our background check supervisor and some of her team go out on this past Saturday. Aaron and Miriam, and some of you probably seen, hopefully a lot of you have seen the information we sent out regarding wanting to get childcare facilities with right now over 100 and over for capacity, getting them fingerprint trained if that's something they want to do. So this past weekend, we had our first training. Don Brown, which was our background check supervisor, went out, and we had, I think, 93 participants that had signed up for a total of about 50 or 60 facilities. They all showed up and learned how to get fingerprint trained. So they will be able to have those services for their staff and for anyone they hire. And then also from there, we're starting discussions too to see how those individuals or those facilities that have been trained can also help out the community and collaborate. So just trying to be creative about expanding the services for fingerprinting, especially in some of the areas where we don't have as many options for fingerprinting. So that's a big initiative going on. That's the first one that we've had. I think she's got 6 more, I believe, scheduled. Like I said, hopefully you've seen that information we've sent out. If not, we can get you a calendar for that. So that's that's great. That was a great turnout. We had great responses. We actually put together a evaluation form that we had everyone complete at the end of the training. Great positive feedback. I don't think I saw any negative feedback from anyone that submitted a survey. Everybody was really grateful and excited that we're able to do that for them. So I think that's going to be great for the state. Then also, as we've also been presenting, we have Saturday events also for fingerprinting. We got a contractor we're working with going across the state, and he's at different library locations many Saturdays in the next coming months to also help expand services for individuals to get fingerprinted. So those are the big things we've got going on right now with Fingerprint Initiative. And so like I said, if you have seen any of that, or if you haven't seen it, just let us know. We can get you information out. We are trying to do a lot more with our website and to have a lot more of that information present on there. So right now we do have those events located on our website, on our childcare licensing website, and you can go in there and see the calendar. It has the fingerprinting dates, and I believe it also has the dates for where Don's going to be out as well, and there's sign up for that too. So Melissa, that's all I have for now. Thank you.
Great. Wanted to share the reason we're doing all of these very proactive initiatives is 2024 marked the launch of our 5-year fingerprint requirement for our CCDF funding within the Office of Child Care. So the federal requirement is every 5 years, anybody who's required to be fingerprinted at any of our licensed facilities has to redo that process. And so in addition to all of the fingerprints that we process every year with all of our normal facilities, we have approximately 10,000 additional affiliates this year on top of that work. So Jarvis and his team have been working really to think of outside of the box ways to help that space. And in fact, I love that we're creating such new opportunities that we didn't even imagine like 5 years ago as we were trying to scramble to get everybody fingerprinted. So I think that speaks to just the innovative work that as our bureau director over the last year, Derek has really challenged us to think outside of the box. And so just a really good positive initiative, because when we started talking about 10,000 extra affiliates, I know personally, because I was a part of phase 1 5 years ago, I thought my head was going to explode just thinking about the extra space and work. And it's really been such it's been really good to be a part of that initiative and see that move forward. So proud of our team. Also wanted to share, because the CIT team was a part of this, is the Childcare Matters update. Childcare Matters is the ad campaign that KDHE specifically launched through funding and feedback from our CIT team. Really excited about this process because we had some additional funding that came our way, and we could really do some targeted populations. I am not a member of our communications team. They just do a fabulous job and ask us for input, but they really broke down what social media platforms work the best, which did not, how we could reallocate our limited funds to really where the high traffic volume was at. And then we have an opportunity to really do some targeted Spanish speaking radio ads that we did not have in our first phase, and really aligning that with where we have a lot of, well, first we have a high population, and then also aligning that with where we have that backbone support, where we have Spanish speaking licensing specialists that can really reach out to anybody responding to those ads. So very excited to see those move into what we call our second phase. And we will share all of our data and our feedback with you guys as soon as we get that. So be listening to, if you're in Southwest Kansas or in Wichita, I hope you have an opportunity to hear our ads, and especially in Spanish. And the last initiative that I really wanted to talk about as we circle back to bullet number 1 is our small center pilot. We shared this initiative with you guys about a year ago. It's when we submitted a proposal to the Secretary of DCF and the Secretary of KDHE, really challenging ourselves as a state to rethink of what has been labeled across the nation as micro centers. We are calling them a small center. And it's really fitting the gap between a facility that serves up to 12 children, which is our home-based, to really, when you look at our centers, those above 24 really are larger facilities. So it's sort of looking in that sweet spot between 13 and 24 children. And I am proud that a year ago, when we brought this information to our systems improvement team, that we have now opened up 2 licensed facilities in the state of Kansas. We have one in a very rural part of the state in Clark County. This was our very first pilot. And if you remember me sharing a moment back ago, our small center pilots really stemmed from a provider submitting a proposal to KDHE saying, why don't you guys, really challenging KDHE to relook at our regulations? How can we serve a population? She didn't have a desire to be a big center, but she knew she wanted to serve more than 12 children. And I had the privilege of conducting her initial survey in Clark County, and it was amazing. I wish I could describe it. It was really like you're walking in a center, but it feels like a home. And then we opened up our second one this last month in Ellis County. So I also participated in the initial survey, and it had that same feel. We are looking at a different staff to child ratio. And we are also partnering with KU to do some evaluation components, because we did make some concessions, some exceptions to regulations. We are really piloting a new staff-child ratio. And what we really want to ensure is that we did not put children in harm's way because of those exceptions and the way that we're rethinking the use of our space. But it is such a, well, I'm just so proud of the initiative, because when you're on site, for families, it's a win-win, because you're not having to drop your child off at 2 different facilities. You literally could drop your child off at 12 weeks, and your child could stay in the small center concept all the way until they're ready for kindergarten. And because this facility falls under the governance of child care center regulations, they are getting lesson plans. They are getting that kindergarten readiness, but they're still getting the flexibility and the feel of that home setting that our small center pilot really strive for. She has given us permission later on to share photos. I'm really hopeful that Derek can help me work with our communications team, and we can do a virtual tour when no children are in care, so that we can start sharing what that vision looks like so everybody can see it. And like I said, these participants have also agreed through the evaluation process for additional compliance visits, so we can really see what is happening in the facility and how do we possibly make this a reality for other facilities across the states. It's a nationwide trend. So I want to say that Kansas is on the cusp of really meeting the demands for those that small center focus, and really an opportunity. Our second pilot shared that it was that it's going to be a game changer for rural Kansas. So very hopeful that we will have some positives to share, but I also want to learn. So we're not going to go in and say that there's not going to be some hiccups, and there might be some compliance issues that we still need to address. because that's just with any new facility. But really, again, hopeful that we will have some positives to share with you in the next 3 months. And Marcy, I think you had a question if Marcy just sent a private message to me. Is this in Mineola? And no, it's not. I'll just be really honest because we don't hide our licensed facilities. The compliance records all on OIDs now are information dissemination. So anybody can go look at the compliance record. So any other questions about our small center pilots?
I don't want this to go without Melissa getting kudos either, because this has been a long time coming for Melissa, and she's done a ton of work on this. Her brainchild for a couple years now, I think, maybe more than that. So I'm coming in on the tail end of it, and just proud of her and proud to see it come to fruition. And we're really excited about this. I want to inject our same thought into you guys as well, which I'm sure is synonymous with everybody in this group, which is why can't Kansas be on the cutting edge of this stuff? And so that's our approach to this sort of thing, not just in childcare licensing, but I oversee some other programs too, like WIC. So I got a shameless plug for those as well. But excited about this. We'll be capturing some data. Gonna, have informed decisions afterwards, but just kind of basking in the glow of a new potential license type at the moment. So kudos to Melissa.
I'm not gonna lie, when I did my first survey and I got in the car, I think I texted Derek and Jarvis, and I might have had a few tears running down. It was just such a phenomenal place to be at. So I just think this is an important new opportunity for families and children. So I appreciate us being on the cusp of something new to share across the nation. That being said, I think I have one more question. Okay, so Megan, do you want to take us back to our introductory slide? Okay, so we have exciting things happening across Kansas. And this is an opportunity for you guys to share any updates from the lens of your agency, anything that's going on in your program, in the early childhood system in general. So if anybody would like to come off mute, I would greatly appreciate it. They want to share.
Oh, I can share. So for the career pathway team, we're really excited that we're wrapping up our workforce survey. So the first part of our comprehensive study wraps up at the end of this month. And we are going to do a month of focus groups across the state to help fill in those gaps in the questioning and in places that we may not have had as much participation. We are happy to say that we've had response from every county in the state, which is a big feat. I know even in some of our rural counties I'll be the first to say I was really hoping that one or two providers, out there would step up and take the survey. The other thing we have going on is our Elevate Your Career course. This course takes a look at the career pathway, the new core comps, and the individualized professional development plan, and helps participants tie them all together in creating a plan that will help them to see their professional growth. So it's not about the program, it's about the person, which is a different lens than, some are used to looking at. And we've had a lot of great stories come out of the success of writing an IPDP. The cool thing about this course is until the end of May, when a provider or professional takes this course, they will get reimbursed $300. And so if you have any questions, send them our way to casito.org, and we'd be happy to answer their questions and send them flyers, but you'll see it out there on Facebook and in emails. And Melissa, I sent you an email today with a happy flyer in it.
I saw that, and Sharon's group had shared some of the early data from the workforce, and it is interesting. Very, very. So I'm excited to see that information get shared and work in a positive way for the workforce in Kansas. So thank you. Anybody want to go next?
As a quick little shameless plug, I'm going to push the advocacy day that's coming up, Early Learning Advocacy Day. Kansas Action for Children, along with multiple other organizations that are in here today, through Partnership for Early Success, have been collaborating over the last couple of weeks. And on March 6th, we have our Advocacy Day coming up, where participants will be able to use, elevate their voices and use that time, ideally, to be able to meet with lawmakers and learn about their ability to use their stories in advocacy for early learning and all of that. So all those details are coming together, and looking forward to what happens this year. Very excited about it.
So Emily, I can't remember, and we may have, it all seems to be blurring together. If we've met in person since your new role with Kansas Action for Children. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Emily, because we're so used to Emily representing CCPC or her own child care facility. And Emily has been wearing a new hat that I would like to say she's wearing just amazingly. She is so she is now with Kansas Action for Children. And so I'm going to just hand it back to Emily, and if she wants to share anything with her new hat and lens.
Sure. I know you and I had talked about doing State House. Do you want me to do that now, or let other people share bright spots, or?
Nope, go ahead, because I think that's a bright spot with your KAC.
Okay. So yes, I do hold a new role within our ecosystem here, our early childhood ecosystem in Kansas. Back in November, I accepted the position as Education Policy Advisor with Kansas Action for Children. And so that has put me in the State House every single day, and I absolutely love what I'm doing. And I love, part of it is being able to see the reality of the hard work that all of our organizations over the last multiple years have done, and see the results of it. And so what that does, though, is it puts me in contact with lawmakers every day. There's a lot going on. The silence was deafening as we were coming towards the end of February. There, lots of discussion, but really no action concerning lots of bills. And then, there's been kind of a flurry. Right now, we're looking at an interesting process, not unexpected, but interesting. In the budget, in the beginning of session, the governor had announced Office of Early, the intention for the Office of Early Childhood. And then also a historic budget request for $56.4 million in the budget. 30 of that was earmarked to be for accelerator grants, to kind of look at an additional opportunity for, program, people who had applied, perhaps in the past and were not able to receive it. There was a demand, and, trying to hopefully, fulfill that demand. 15 million was earmarked to be sustainability grant funding. Specifically, the idea behind that was to target towards family child care providers. 5 million of it was targeted to be earmarked for a pilot program in Northwest Kansas, for a public-private partners. I can never say that. And the public-private partnership pilot program in Northwest Kansas, where the intention was to create a tri-share model. Unfortunately, in recent weeks, each of those requests has been removed by budget committees. And what we're looking at in the coming weekish or so, as we continue through the process, is looking toward Senate Ways and Means and the House Appropriations Committee to see what can be done budget-wise. The Office of Early Child Care has received a bill number. There is not active work on it yet. We did receive confirmation that it has been blessed. It was sent to Appropriations and then back to the House Commerce Committee, where we anticipate that after turnaround, we will begin working on it more on the Senate side. So we're going to figure out all of those details and what's involved in all of that. So, you know, stay tuned. There's a lot coming at us. We're trying to work with, you know, what opportunities do we have to use our voice and, you know, get our message out there? What conversations do we have? You know, what commonalities do we have? Is, you know, we have these huge conversations that we need to have, and where can we find the commonality and then work through some of the differences of opinions as we go forward. And I'm trying to think, there's been a lot that has happened, and I feel like I've not even scratched the surface. A lot of what I would kind of put out there is a lot of what is necessary right now is the relationships that you have with your lawmakers, you know, ensuring that they know that, you know, what work is being done. You know, one of the things that we find is that, you know, the lawmakers in the State House aren't always aware of what is actually happening. And so ensuring that, you know, the good work that your organization is doing, make sure your lawmaker knows about that and knows how crucial it is to your community, to, you know, the workforce, to your families, you know, whatever the situation is. Finding that way to ensure that they have accurate information is going to be one of those things that's really going to be helpful. So, Derek, is there anything that I forgot? Because I feel like there is, but I feel like I covered a lot of it.
I mean, there's other things, but I think that's covers the gist of it.
Right. So I'm sure a lot will begin coming really fast in the coming weeks. Advocacy Day is an important part of that. And so just kind of figuring out where you fit in that. So, but I'm always here to answer questions, and, you know, I've received questions from many people, and I always appreciate any time you can reach out, and I'm very happy to explain things as we learn them.
Emily, if somebody wants to register for the Advocacy Days and they have not yet, how do they do so?
We have sent out there are links going around, and I know a couple of organizations still have the links. We will be doing another push. We have somewhere around like 20 spots left. So if you haven't registered, please do. One of my goals is I would love to see the workforce able to participate. And so if you know of members of our workforce who would be able to and interested in coming, I would love to ensure that they have an opportunity. Unfortunately, due to space constraints, we had to put a cap on attendance. And so we have about 20 spots left. And so if you all know of people, you know, if people in your organizations are interested in coming, you know, childcare providers, you know, the workforce, families with young children, if you know that they are out there, Melissa, I can get you that link. And that way, then if people are interested, we can get that going back out. We're doing a push this week to try to get that wrapped up, because one of my responsibilities is to make sure that everybody has access and learns how to effectively find their lawmaker. And that means a lot of matching addresses with districts and things like that. So we've got a lot of details that we're still pulling together.
Emily, it might be worth mentioning too for folks to pay some attention to House Commerce. That's where childcare bills are flowing through. Just pay attention to House Commerce.
Pay attention to House Commerce and also Senate Commerce. You know, they're going to work hand in hand. We have gotten that confirmation that that's where bills are going to be. And so one of the things that you can do if you are interested is go on to the kslegislature.org website. And I'm on there multiple times a day. If you go on to kslegislature.org and you click on the committees tab, you'll be able to pick from a list. And that's the quickest, fastest, easiest way to get in contact with the information you need every week. Agendas are released on the Wednesday before the upcoming week. And so that can help you kind of have an idea of what may be coming down the way. And of course, you know, KAC will be paying attention to that as well.
And everything on YouTube recorded. So,
Mhm.
you know, obviously not everybody can watch something at 1:30 on a
Right.
Monday or Tuesday. So feel free to go back and watch. I would say, I was going to mention Emily from our perspective. I can't, not that it, we haven't been asked to testify on anything yet this session, as far as KDHE goes and in my realm in childcare licensing. I anticipate that will change, whether it's testimony or informational hearing or something like that. I think we're coming up on some of that here in the next.
Yes, one of the things that I would suggest, this has been a very different year. It started off differently than, you know, than typical. For people who generally do testify, I would look at your ability over the coming weeks. What is your flexibility, things like that. Part of this process is fast. The very little turnaround. And that is the process. And so for people who would be interested in participating in this, I think it would be good to consider your schedules and what you have. Sorry, there's something in the chat. Tanya Bullock was saying, had a visit from Senator Marshall this morning. We were able to share exactly the type of information Emily mentioned. And so yeah, that, you know, kind of having that idea, you know, even if you're not able to get there for a specific hearing, knowing the ways that you can reach out to your senator or representative, you know, things like that. And so just taking that time to look at, you know, what is your ability in the coming weeks? Things are going to start moving. And I think they're going to start moving fast. So yeah, look out for more updates from me.
Right. And if you have, I'll put a shameless plug for you guys, Emily, if you're not receiving the KAC newsletter, please subscribe because it is a wonderful breakdown weekly of what's going on in the State House. And give them a follow on Twitter because that's how I get my updates. I always love it's a real-time posting and what's going on. And I have notifications for KAC tweets. So I really appreciate you guys.
Thank you. Glad to be doing.
I'm glad and appreciate everything that you're doing. And Emily, if you did not see in the chat, there's a few shout outs of congratulations to you. So go look at those. It's been just like I said, a pleasure to work with Emily in a different way, but yet still the same. So just glad we get to still have her within our early childhood landscape. And Brett Schmidt, I see you are on. I did not realize, so I'm going to circle back and take a minute. Brett Schmidt is one of our Child Care Center pilots, and just wanted to give a shout out to him because when we say innovative, Brett really tries to encompass that in Hayes. He has an intergenerational child care center, a preschool site, and now a small center. So he is the definition of innovation in Alice County. And Brett, I didn't know if you wanted to say anything about the small center pilot from a provider perspective.
Yeah, I wanted to say thank you to Melissa for the idea and for pushing us through. It's been a long process. We had some delays with construction, some issues with just the property we were at, but we are open. We got our temporary permit and we are so excited. We have a director there that was a family child care provider for almost 20 years, and now she's the director of the center. She's loving it. We're still slowly enrolling, but it is good to kind of learn the ropes as you go. This is our first group of infants and toddlers at any of our facilities, but we are just so excited to see what is going to happen with this small center pilot. I can tell you, my daughter, like, we've had some older children that are in there. My daughter's 14 months old, and she is so excited when she sees the older little girls in there. And she's doing exactly what they are. So she's pushing her chair in now at home, where before, she was just sitting in a high chair, but she thinks she's probably about a little teenager now. So it's been amazing.
Well, I cannot wait to come to your compliance check, Brett, and see all of that in action, and look for an email, because we are having you sign up for those advocacy days that we talked about. So
Yes.
I had that. So look at your email. I think I sent you one today. So Emily, I have not forgotten my to-do list from Friday. Okay, well, appreciate all of that. There's a lot going on from Casito with the workforce development to KDHE innovative initiatives, and to all of the legislative updates within Emily's space. So I just appreciate everybody and realize it takes a village to keep all of this moving and functioning. So every agency is greatly appreciated. So wanted to move to our last topic of the night. This was a sit, nothing you guys have to give tonight. Just want you guys to think about it and send some emails. Or maybe we can even do a survey, Megan. But we were challenged by you guys as a group. We did the provider toolkit, and now we would like to challenge our team to work on a center toolkit. We really learned a lot through the accelerator grants, because those really pushed forward new builds in the child care center space. So my team and licensing specialists every day for a really long time have spent a lot of time with architects. I never realized I would spend so much time with architects, and really describing what a good child care center space looks like. And it's so positive that we have some really good models in Kansas that we can share, point to, and no one seems to really mind letting anybody come look at their space and sharing their layout. Maybe not their code footprint, but they're definitely their layout of how they operate. And realized we really need to connect and have facilities right at the application phase of what that looks like. So we are going to be soliciting you guys, and I do believe through a survey of especially our child care center folks, of what are some of the most important components that come to your mind when you are constructing or building or dreaming your child care center space. We've been asked from communities, we have lots of really good coalitions in place due to the accelerator grant, and we realize we have a void. We definitely have a need to have a very viable child care center toolkit. So really tasking you with thinking that through, and would encourage you that if you do give us feedback, that you look at the provider toolkit and how we laid forward that path of information, and then give us some really good feedback with our child care center. So that's something that, once we get through this legislative session and we promulgate our new regs, that we do that simultaneously with the child care center toolkit, because it really feels like the natural partnership marriage to do that right along with our new regulations, to have this sort of fresh document that we can share with applicants. So hopefully, again, we will put together, like I said, a survey. We will get that to you guys, and then you guys can just be very honest. And then we're going to also look back at our meeting notes, because I believe we did take some really good meeting notes on this sort of like wish list that we can also use to get out some information. But really just, again, tasking you with, guys, hey, this is our next piece that we would really like some input on. Because you guys are the experts, not us. Okay. I think we can advance to the next one. I think that's just a, yep. We will, I'm not really quite sure if we will have a meeting next month. I guess it kind of really depends on what happens across the street from KDHE, and because I really do want to make sure that we are keeping our systems improvement team informed. If we have any legislation that impacts just really the early childhood landscape in general. So we will we have a hold for next month's meeting. If it's canceled, we will remove that hold. But if not, just plan on seeing us next month. And we will share any updates that impact childcare licensing. And that being said, I do want to, as I was going through and going through all of the participants, do you want to go off screen? Yeah, and we'll just show everybody. As I was going through everybody, I saw Amanda, and I just really wanted to give a little shout out to Amanda Peterson. This is her last Zoom with us while she goes on paternity leave. And she's not counting down the days at all to her due date. So I just wanted to say congratulations, Amanda, and we look forward to having Natalie join us and enjoy your paternity leave.
Thanks, Melissa. I really appreciate it. If anybody's curious, we are down under 3 weeks until my due date, and we are really excited about that. I am very, very ready for that wonderful day to arrive. And I'm also really excited to share that we do have childcare. And I definitely did like cry and then go around and high five all of the members of my team a couple of weeks ago when we found out that we were off that wait list. So yeah, you all are going to be in terrific hands with Natalie McLean. She's recently led our work in partnership with others to update the Kansas Early Learning Standards. So I am super excited that she's going to get to join this group while we are welcoming baby Peterson to the world.
Well, we look forward to meeting her, and then, you know, we got to promise the first time you're back, you got to send us like you got to put a picture on screen so we can all ooh and ah.
Perfect. And yes, Christy, all of our sleep environments are alone on backs and clutter-free cribs. We are good to go. My husband is repeating the ABC now, which is great. So,
oh, we should do an ad with them, Christy. Like, yes, that would be great. I love it.
thanks, everybody.
Last piece, Patty, I guess one of the things that, since we talked about the Kansas Early Learning Standards, do you want to give a shout out or a summary about you or anybody on your team about the core competencies? Because I feel like we're really close to March and Linda's not on this team. And that is really, I mean, it has been a long time coming, and we should really acknowledge the core competencies because it's an amazing document.
Yeah, we're excited. The core competencies are at the designer. And so they are just finishing up, you know, making it look pretty with tabs and whatnot. So, you know, it is our plan to first have a launch electronically. So we'll launch that electronically, electronic version, maybe to give us a little bit of buffer before we send, you know, 10,000 plus copies to the printer, just in case for that final. I was just discussing with staff actually earlier this week about when the core competencies were printed, it'd be 20 plus years ago, there was a phone number that was incorrectly put on the front of the, I don't know if anyone else remembers, but it was to a phone number. It was a phone number line that not somewhere that you want all of your early childhood care and education workforce calling X-rated bad stuff. So I said, you know, I think we should do an electronic, if we first launch electronically, and then just in case. I mean, I will also say that it's gone through so many reviews. And it's, you know, yes, led by Linda Logan with Casito, but not alone, by no means. Many people and even many people from on this call have put countless hours into this. So we're very excited for this to be able to share this out with the state very soon. Thank
And I
you for the
love-
opportunity.
Yeah, and I love that it's just Kansas, right? It's just it's just our core competencies. We don't share it. So it's just kind of has our spin. What I will promise once we do get it electronically, because I am on that work group, I will shamelessly invite Linda to do a review with our systems improvement team, because I really think she is such a great leader with that project of really answering why are the core competencies important to me from multiple lenses, and whether it's you as a licensing specialist, me as a provider, somebody from Kansas Department of Education, and how they're combining that with their standards. So I really just value how she frames that, and we will ask Linda to join us. And it really is, I cannot share, it is a beautiful document. Like it is so well laid out. We were all kind of geeking over the color, and then realized, oh gosh, will it pass all the ADA? Because there's a lot of color. So we will see how it passes the ADA test. But we will definitely invite her to the systems improvement team to give us an update. Thanks for that impromptu, Patty. I would feel guilty if we missed that. All right, well, it is 7:22. I appreciate everybody joining us. I was hoping to keep it no more than an hour, and just want to say thank you. And there is a lot going on. Shameless plug again, if you have not signed up for Kansas Action for Children's weekly newsletter, please do. And have a great evening, and enjoy the rest of this beautiful week. Thank you.